All right, got it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go then. Okay, so you are in an orientation for online students who are in the 16-month cohort program. This means that you have advanced standing status. You're coming into the program with a BSW. And you've chosen to specialize in direct practice with children and families or direct practice with mental health and substance abuse. This is a 16-month program. You will graduate in December of 2019, and you'll be taking 16-week courses with a cohort model. And what that means is that you will be in classes with the same students from class to class. So from semester to semester, you'll get to know the students in your classes and you'll remain with them throughout your duration in the program. Most students who choose our cohort option really like it because you're able to develop not only networks, but also friendships that last long beyond your graduation date. So I think you've made a good choice in choosing the cohort model, and I expect that you'll really like the program. This should look familiar to you. This is a degree plan. This is the one specific to direct practice with mental health and substance abuse. So you can see these are the courses that you'll be taking in the fall, spring, summer, and fall semesters. And you can see that you're typically taking either 9 or 10 credit hours per semester. Most students find this to be quite manageable. And that you will be doing your field placement beginning in the summer of 2019 and continuing on through the fall of 2019. This is the degree plan for mental health students, and you will see this next slide shows a similar degree plan for children and family students. So we've got both specialties on this call today. So depending on what your specialty is, you'll follow the corresponding degree plan. If you have not yet been able to meet with your advisor or register for your classes, please do not panic. As a cohort student, you are guaranteed a spot in each of the classes that you need on your degree plan. So as long as you're in communication with your advisor, you will be added to the classes that you need and we will get you a slot. If you've tried to add a class and you've been waitlisted, for example, please know that we are currently adding classes and that we will get you accommodated just as soon as we're able to. So thank you for your patience. Reach out to your advisor and we will get you set up and ready for the fall semester. This is a picture of the School of Social Work as we are situated on the UTA Arlington campus. I know that you're online students and many of you will never come to our physical campus, but I figured you should know what it looks like. We're actually situated in a historic building in the old Arlington High School, which was built right at the turn of the 20th century. So our dean is Dr. Scott Ryan. Our associate dean is Dr. Deborah Woody, and I already introduced myself. My name is Dr. Diane Mitchke, and I'm the director of graduate programs. One of the first things I would encourage you to do as a new student in our graduate program is to get connected. We are really active on social media. On all of these different platforms. And if you go to our website and scroll to the bottom, you can get connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, really whatever floats your boat. But we are constantly posting stories about some of the amazing things that our students are doing and some of the great research that's coming out of our program in terms of both student and faculty research. So that's an easy way to kind of keep in the know and share some of the great things that your school is doing out into the broader community. You can also download the UTA mobile app. This is just an app that you can download onto your smartphone. It populates with news and events that are happening around campus, as well as pictures. We often will post, again, stories about some of the things that our students are doing here. So just another way to kind of keep in touch and be involved with UTA mobile. I think you've made a really fantastic choice in choosing UTA. We are ranked number 22 in the country for most affordable MSW programs, and we're really proud about that because we know that cost is a really important part of the decision and why you chose UTA. We're also ranked number 1 in Texas for veteran friendliness. I don't know if anyone on the call is in the military or is a veteran, but we do have a very large population of student veterans in our MSW program, and we are really proud about that and proud about the different services that UTA is able to offer for veterans and military families. We are also ranked number 3 among MSW programs by graduateprograms.com. And this is actually a ranking that's specific to our online programs. So it's something that we're really pretty excited about in terms of the way that people across the country are viewing the excellence of our online program offerings. So welcome to graduate school. I feel like graduate school is a really special time in your academic journey because for many of you, it will be the first time that you can dive deeper into your passion for social work and for really learning about how it is that you want to guide your own career trajectory. Graduate school gives you the opportunity to learn and develop expertise in an area that you feel like you can make a difference. And when you're pursuing your MSW, we want to ensure that your educational journey gears you for the career path that you choose. And so I'm excited that you're starting this journey with UTA. I think you've made a really excellent choice, and I think that you'll think so too as you start taking your classes and getting to know some of your peers and your professors. So I just commend you on becoming a maverick, and I hope that you'll reach out to me if you have any questions along the way, because I want to make sure that your journey is a successful one and that you're excited about what you're doing here at the school. We have a number of student support services that are available to our students, and these are provided through our Office of Advising and Student Success. So here on the screen, I have a link to a video which was made by Miss Patrice Green, who is our coordinator of that office. And she talks in this video about a number of different services that we have available to you as graduate students, both inside our school as well as in the larger university community. And so you can access the link from here after the call, or I will also send you this link separately in my email that I send with this recording, so that you can watch that video and learn about all of the different things that we have in place to ensure that you're successful on your graduate school journey. Our Office of Advising and Student Success consists of 3 MSW level providers right now. We have Patrice Green, who I mentioned before, Tiara Thomas, and Mauricia Davis are our other academic advisors. So when you were accepted to the program, you should have received a letter that identified your academic advisor and provided you with their contact information. If you don't know who your academic advisor is, please send me an email and I will set you up so that you are in contact with your advisor and we can get you registered for classes. Finding your textbooks. So this is actually an image of a screenshot from the UTA bookstore website. You can get to it simply by typing uta.edu/bookstore. So pretty simple. If you click on textbooks, you'll get this page, which shows you how to find all of the textbooks for your classes in any given semester. You'll simply type in your ID number, and your screen will be populated with the courses you're enrolled in and the textbooks that are required for those courses. You can purchase your books directly from this website, or you can find the books that are required and then search for them online somewhere else. That's fine too. I will tell you that yes, and Janice is saying that Amazon and Chegg had the books for rental as well. I will say also, though, that the UTA bookstore does have a price matching guarantee. So if you find the books somewhere online for a cheaper price, but you want to buy them from the UTA bookstore, the UTA bookstore will actually price match for you if you share that with them. So anyway, you have a number of options available to you in terms of getting your textbooks. This is a screenshot of the Blackboard intro page. So I know that many of you are probably already familiar with Blackboard. But for those of you who haven't used Blackboard before, it is our course management system that we use here at UTA. And this is the system through which you will access all of your course materials. As you can see from this screen, there are a number of different tutorials that you can watch. There are different tip sheets. So what I would encourage you to do if you have not used Blackboard before is use these next couple of weeks before classes start to just familiarize yourself with what Blackboard looks like. Take a few of the tutorials so that you're up to speed on the first day of class and know how to access your class and do what you need to do to be successful. What I have here is a screenshot of a class that I took, that I taught last spring. And this is actually what you will get when you click on one of your classes this fall, something that looks similar to this. So you'll see that on the left-hand side of the screen, you see several different menu options for navigating your course. In the center of your screen, you'll see an announcements panel. And this is simply where your professor may post announcements to the class, reminders, things like that. If you navigate using the left-hand side of your screen, you can get into the course materials. And this is really where all of the content for your courses will live. So you can see in my course, I have it broken down by week. And this was an 8-week class, so there are 8 folders. Within these folders, there are a number of different types of content that are available to students for that particular week. There are different kinds of readings, lecture materials, web links, this discussion board tool where you can participate in a discussion with your classmates, and then any additional content. So you can see it's pretty well organized. I think that most people find Blackboard pretty easy to use, and I think once you get used to it, you'll find it pretty easy. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. So if you ever do have any problems with Blackboard, the university does offer 24/7 technical support. And you can access that support simply by clicking on that main Blackboard homepage. There's a link that says 24/7 support. And you can get assistance either by phone or by email or by live chat. So most students that have had technical issues have been able to access that resource and have not had any problems. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to get hooked up with your UTA email and download it onto your phone so that it is easily accessible, and that you can check it on a regular basis, because that's really the way that we will begin communicating with you about important deadlines, including things like registration, scholarship opportunities. Really all of the communication that we will do with you will be through your UTA email. You will also be enrolled in the MSW listserv automatically, so you don't have to worry about signing up for that. It will automatically come with your enrollment. And that's a place where we send out announcements of different events and things that may be of interest related to student organizations and career opportunities, really kind of anything that we think all of our MSW students would be interested in. We have a number of library and writing resources that are available to you as graduate students for free. And it's going to be real important that you familiarize yourself with some of these, because you're going to hit the ground running. You're going to have research papers that are required in your classes, and those research papers are going to require that you access the library. We have a really fantastic library at UTA with thousands and thousands of sources that are related to social work and various topics within our field. We have our own librarian that is assigned to our school. Her name is Brooke Troutman. And she is a fantastic person to reach out to if you have trouble figuring out which database to use for a particular search, or if you're just not sure how to get started in accessing the material you need from the library. She is able to kind of hold your hand and walk you through how to find the best resources for your given topic. The library also has a number of tutorials that can be very useful. One of the ones that I think is most helpful is a tutorial about using APA style. So if you are not familiar with APA style, or you feel like you need a refresher, I would encourage you to take that tutorial, because I think that you'll find it useful, since all of your papers will need to be written in APA style. We also have a university writing center. This is staffed by graduate students in the English department, and so it's most helpful for students who are concerned about things like their grammar, things like making sure the argument that they're making in their paper is making sense, those kinds of things. But one of the limitations is that they are not able to help with APA style, because English students actually use a different style, MLA. And so, don't worry, we have something to fix that. We have Dr. Chris Kilgore. He is our writing resource coordinator, and he is full-time in our School of Social Work, and his job is to help our social work students write better. And so Dr. Kilgore not only can help you with APA style, but he can help you really at every stage of the writing process. So if you're having trouble getting started, you just feel like you have writer's block and you don't know how to get started on a particular paper, you can meet with Dr. Kilgore virtually or by email, and he can brainstorm with you about different directions to take your paper. If later on, as you're writing your paper, you want him to review a draft before you turn in your final submission, he can do that, and he can give you, he can critique your paper and give you feedback on that as well. The other thing that he does that's really useful is he will do large group virtual presentations on particular writing assignments. So in any given class, you will probably have a large writing assignment, and he will do a writing presentation that is particular to that assignment to kind of give you an overview of what's expected, to warn you about any pitfalls that he's seen in previous students' work, that kind of thing. And so we're really excited to have Dr. Kilgore on our staff. I think we're the only School of Social Work that I know of that has a full-time PhD level writing resource coordinator on staff to help students with their writing. I'd like to talk a little bit about licensing simply because I get a lot of questions about social work licensing. And so I want to clarify a few things and make sure you understand how the process works in terms of getting both your degree and your license as an MSW. When you graduate from our program, you will graduate with the MSW degree, which then makes you eligible to sit for the licensing exam. You may choose to take the licensing exam or not. It is up to you. About 2/3 of employers we find actually do require at least the LMSW license. The LCSW is a little bit different. It comes later, so I'm going to talk about both of them side by side. So as I said, the LMSW is available to you immediately after you graduate. You simply apply to sit for the licensing exam. You submit your transcript and pay a fee. And then once you're given permission, you can go to a testing center in your area to sit for the exam. And then once you pass it, you are good to go as an LMSW. Some students, I would say about half of our students, decide that they want to take a prep course to prepare them to take the LMSW exam. Again, that's up to you. That's kind of your choice as a student, whether or not you feel like you need to take a prep course after graduation. The LCSW is the next level of licensing available, and it requires quite a bit of additional hoops to jump through, we'll say. So the LCSW is really for people who feel like they want to diagnose and treat mental illness in terms of their employment. So in order to get an LCSW, you must first become licensed with your LMSW. And then you need to find a position where you're doing supervised clinical social work that is approved by the Texas State Board of Social Work Examiners. You need 3,000 hours, which typically comes out to about 2 years of full-time employment. And during that time, you have a supervisor who provides documented supervision to you for at least 4 hours a month. Once you complete those requirements, then it works similar to the other licensing exam in the sense that you apply, and then you're granted permission to go ahead and take the exam. And if you pass it, then you'll become an LCSW and you will be able to practice social work independently. So some people say, you know, I want to hang my own shingle, I want to have my own private practice. Those are people who would need to get an LCSW in order to do that, for example. As graduate students, you have the opportunity to engage in research at several different levels. You will take an advanced research class during the beginning of your program, and that will set you up to participate either in a graduate research assistantship if you so chose. We call these GRA positions, and they simply are paid positions where you are paired with a faculty member who is actively engaged in funded research. And you would work for them on their research project as a graduate student. The other option for you to engage at a deeper level in research is by doing a thesis. So during your last semester, you'll see on your degree plan that you have what's called integrative seminar. And this is typically what we call our capstone class. Our capstone or integrative seminar class means that you're taking a class where you're demonstrating your comprehensive knowledge that you've gained throughout the program. An alternative to that is doing a thesis. So the thesis is a research study that you work on under the direction of a faculty member who helps you develop your research question, design your study, and then implement your study. And if you choose to do a thesis, then you would need to make that choice before the last semester of enrollment. So you would actually enroll in thesis for your final 2 semesters of the program. If thesis is something you'd like to explore more, I would encourage you to reach out to me or Dr. Holly Slater in the Office of Research. Both of us are able to answer any kinds of questions you might have simply about exploring the possibility of doing a thesis. I think it's a great idea, and the students that do thesis typically are very happy that they chose that route. As an example, my area of research interest is looking at refugees and refugee resettlement. So this summer I worked with 2 different master's students on thesis research studies. One looked at Syrian refugee families and how the barriers and challenges that they faced in the past year, having resettled 1 year ago. And so that was her research study. And then another student was interested in looking at immigrants from Afghanistan and looking at how they use religion as a coping mechanism for dealing with the challenges that come from resettling to a new country. So lots of different opportunities across the board for you to engage more deeply in a topic that you have an interest in. We have a huge number of faculty who are active in research across a number of different areas. We're actually adding 11 faculty to our school this fall. So we're really growing, and we're really excited about what that means in terms of opportunities for our students to engage with faculty who are experts in both practice and in research. I will just throw this out there. I know that you're just starting your MSW program. But it's always good to kind of keep in the back of your mind, what are you going to do next? And for some of you, that may mean considering the possibility of pursuing a PhD. This is for students who are very interested in research and engaging in research over the course of their career. And we do have a PhD program here at UTA. If you think you might be interested in pursuing a PhD after you get your MSW, I would encourage you to reach out to me, and I can set you up with some of our students and our PhD program director to get more information and start thinking about that for your future. A DSW is another option longer term. This is basically a clinical doctorate. So if you see yourself being an expert in clinical practice, and this is really where you see your career headed, then you may consider getting a DSW. We don't have a DSW program currently, but I do expect that we will add one within the next couple of years. So if it's something you're interested in, keep that in mind as you move forward through the MSW program and possibly pursue a DSW in the future. We have a number of student organizations, and I want to be clear that these organizations are available not only to our face-to-face students, but also to our online students. We have a number of online student leaders who are involved in these different organizations. So please don't think that because you're an online student, you can't be involved in these student organizations. We highly encourage your involvement. I've listed the different organizations that we have available now. I do expect that we will add at least 2 more this fall. And so just to give you a brief overview, the Social Work Council is basically your advocacy body as students. So this is the group that advocates for changes that need to be made to the curriculum or the structure or really anything. It's kind of your body that kind of communicates with larger issues to the administration of the school. And any one of you can be a member of the council. You don't have to be elected or anything like that. So it's a good thing to be involved in and engaged in terms of advocating for your own education. The Social Work Health Organization is an organization that is made up of students who are interested in health and healthcare issues, as well as disease prevention. Even if your specialty is not health, we have members from all different specialties that are parts of all these different groups. So you're not limited by your specialty. We recognize that you probably have many interests, only one of which is the specialty you've chosen. Students for Global Change is an organization for students who are interested in international social work. Many of the students in this group are interested in going into the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps after they graduate. We also have students in this group who are interested in international issues here at home. For example, issues related to immigrants, issues related to border control and things like that. So we've had students that have been engaged in some advocacy work related to what's been going on this summer along the Texas-Mexico border. And also students who are interested in refugees and refugee resettlement are part of Students for Global Change. The Gerontology Organization is an organization for students who are interested in working with older adults. It's one of our most active organizations. I would encourage you, if you have any interest in gerontology or older adults, to join this organization. They really do a lot of great work in their respective communities around the state of Texas, and they've been able to develop quite a network across the state in terms of career options for students who are part of their organization. Finally, Phi Alpha Honor Society is the National Honor Society for social work students. I know that all of you are coming in with your BSW, which means that you may have already become a member of Phi Alpha. If you have, you can transfer your membership here to UTA as a graduate student. If you have not become a member of Phi Alpha already and are interested in doing so, you would be eligible once your grades post in December. So after this first semester, you would be eligible to apply. And I've found that most students enjoy being a member of Phi Alpha because they develop friendships and it's a good resume builder, and also because you do get to wear special honor cords when you walk across the stage at graduation. Okay, we have made it to the last part of the formal orientation, and that is the section where I'm going to talk a bit about field education. And field education is a really important part of what we do as social work educators. We feel like it's a really vital piece of your master's level education because you get to take what you've learned in the classroom and apply it out in a real life field setting. Many of our students who have great experiences in the field are actually hired by the agency where they do their advanced field placement. And so it's a really good opportunity for you to network and to develop some opportunities for yourself career-wise as well. I know that all of you are familiar with what field looks like in general because you've done a field placement as part of your BSW. But I want to go through the process briefly in terms of what this will look like as a graduate student. Our field office is made up of our Assistant Dean of Field Education, Dr. Donetta Smith. And we have 3 field advisors that help students get connected with agencies and placed in an appropriate agency that matches their specialty. So for those of you who do not live in the DFW Metroplex, your field advisor will be Ronnie Robinette, and Ronnie will help you in identifying field placements that are available in your area, in your geographic area. And also, if there's an agency that you have identified and want to connect with, she can help you go through the process of getting that agency affiliated with the UTA so that you can do your field placement there. So if you are living outside of DFW, then Ronnie will be your field advisor. If you are living inside DFW, then Amy Lopez will be your field advisor. And Amy will work with you to match you to a placement that meets your needs. Susan Terry is our administrative assistant. You can reach out to her if you have any questions about deadlines or logistical kinds of questions. And then I also have on the screen the social work field address, general address for any kinds of questions there. All students who are getting their MSW across the country have to meet this set of core competencies that are developed by the Council on Social Work Education. And so in your field placement, you're going to be working to develop expertise across all of these areas so that when you graduate with your MSW, we can consider you adept at being able to address each of these issues within your practice setting. So it's important to kind of keep these in mind because you'll actually be addressing these throughout your classes. And then again, in your final field placement, all of these will come into play and you'll be evaluated on each of these competencies before you graduate. Once again, I have to tell you that you must check your MAVS email. This is the way that the field office will contact you and let you know that it's your turn to do your application for field. And when that window opens and when it closes, this is also how you'll be matched. So please, if your email is not working or you're not sure how to do it, please reach out to IT support. You can email helpdesk@uta.edu. That's HELPDESK, helpdesk@uta.edu, and they will help you get your MAVS email set up so that you don't have any problems accessing it, and that's never a problem for you moving through the program. In order to enter field, you have to have a GPA of 3.0 or better. So 3.0 is a B average, and that's actually the GPA requirement to keep you in good standing throughout your graduate education. You need a B average. So that means if you get a C in a class, you need to pair it with an A, right? Because a C is a 2.0 and an A is a 4.0. So you need that 3.0 average. If you don't have a 3.0 by the time you're ready to go into field, then you will have to wait until you can bring your GPA up in order to enter your field placement. But we don't want that to be a problem for any of you. So stay on top of that GPA. If you need assistance, if you find that you're struggling, please reach out to your advisor, to your instructor, or to me directly so that we can get you the support you need to be able to achieve success academically. On the call today, we have students who are specializing in children and families, and we also have students specializing in mental health. So let me talk a bit about children and families first. You'll be ready to enter your field placement once you've completed 5311, which is your advanced micro practice class, and social work 5362, which is your direct practice with children and families. Once you've completed both of those, you'll be able to go into field that next semester. So if you're a children and family student, you're going to be placed in an area where you're going to be working directly with children and their families across any number of settings, including things like schools, adoption, foster care, CPS, lots of families who are in crisis, for example, intimate partner violence situations, and lots of other kinds of crisis situations as well. We do have a number of placements in homeless shelters and homeless care provider settings. So lots and lots of different possibilities. I would say that the children and family specialization is the most flexible in terms of just a huge variety of different kinds of places you can go for your advanced field placement. You'll be able to indicate your preference in terms of what you're really looking for in a placement, and also kind of your geographic preference. And so if you are in the DFW Metroplex, for example, and you live in Plano, then we're not going to place you at a placement in Cleburne. If you live outside of the Metroplex, you're going to have a lot more say as well into where your placement is located, because you will have a hand in identifying that placement for yourself. So this is for mental health then, switching gears a little bit. In order for you to be ready for your field placement, you'll finish advanced micro practice and also direct practice in mental health and substance abuse. And that will set you up to enter field. And with mental health, your focus is going to be on assessing, diagnosing, and treating mental health disorders as well as addiction and recovery services. So you won't necessarily do both in the same placement, but you will do at least one of those. And you could be placed in an inpatient acute crisis kind of setting, or you could be placed in a residential type treatment center, as well as intensive outpatient, MHMR. Again, any agency or organization that is actively treating individuals with mental health disorders or substance abuse and addiction issues. One of the things that I really need to emphasize to you as you begin thinking about your field placement is that it takes a lot to be able to manage a field placement and your class schedule, as well as whatever else you have going on in your life. I know that a number of you are working, some of you full-time, others of you part-time. Some of you are also trying to manage family responsibilities and just other life responsibilities. And I recognize that field takes a lot out of you. So it's important to start thinking now about how you're going to manage to balance everything that field is going to require. We do have placements that will allow you to do some of your hours in the evenings or on weekends, but we don't have any placements that will allow you to do all of your hours only on weekends or in the evenings. And so it's going to be important that you're able to figure out a way to make that work with your current schedule. So maybe that means you need to start talking with your employer now about taking flex time or saving up your vacation days or taking some time off in a different way to be able to accommodate when you actually do need to be in your field placement setting during the normal work day. So start thinking about that. We have a tool available on the website that I posted a link to here. You can access it simply by going to the website and clicking on field. It's a planning tool to help you think through how you're going to manage the demands of field and balance those with the different other things that you have going on in your life. You guys have done this before. You're coming in with a bachelor's degree in social work, so that means you were able to figure it out before, and I know you can do it again this time. And we do have support services in place to help you be successful. So let's get into the logistics of applying for field. We use a system called eIntern. You fill out all the application sections online, and then once you're finished filling out all the sections, you just submit it. You will need to also purchase liability insurance because this is something that's required of all students who are in our field placement. And the liability insurance will cover you for both semesters that you're enrolled in field. It costs about $30 to $50 depending on the policy you choose. And on our field website, we have links to different vendors that you can choose from. It doesn't matter to us which one you choose. You simply purchase it, and then you get the certificate of insurance, which you then forward to the field office to accompany your field application. And then your application will be approved. The Office of Field Education will review your application and match you with an agency that has requested students for that semester if you live here in the DFW Metroplex. If you live outside of the DFW Metroplex, the process is a little bit different. And that process is outlined on the field website. Simply, it means that you would access a list of agencies that we do have pre-approved throughout the state of Texas in different geographic areas. And if we have placements available that are on our existing list, we can go ahead and match you to one of those. If not, then you'll go through a process of identifying a placement and working to get them affiliated with UTA. And as I said before, Ronnie, your field advisor, will be able to help guide you through that process. We have all of the forms that you need, as well as a step-by-step guide and even a script that you can use when approaching agencies about the possibility of doing your field placement with them. So you can get more information on the website about that process. So logistically, in terms of the field assignment and placement process, we are going to go ahead, once you've submitted your application, as we talked about, you will be assigned an agency by the field office. And then at that point, they will tell you, they will email you and tell you that you need to contact that agency to set up an interview. If the interview goes well, then you are accepted by the agency. The agency will accept you in the e-intern system, and you will in turn accept them. If, on the other hand, it does not go so well, then you will be rejected by the agency. Don't fret. It doesn't mean that you're terrible. It means that maybe it wasn't a good fit. Perhaps the hours didn't match up to your expectations, or it really wasn't something that sounded like it would be an interesting experience for you. So that's fine too. Don't worry. There are good placements that we can find for you and that are available out there. So don't fret if you get declined. We will just go through the process again, and the field agency will assign you, the field office will assign you a new agency, and we'll go from there. The field liaison is an important person within the field process. This is the person who is the instructor of record with UTA. And this is the person ultimately who is responsible for your grade in field, both semesters of enrollment. They serve as the go-to person for you in terms of mediating conflict, as well as reviewing midterm and final evaluations, reviewing your log of hours and making sure that you're getting the hours that you need, as well as reviewing your learning contract to make sure that you and your field instructor have discussed your learning goals for your field placement and that they're appropriate to your advanced practicum experience. And as I said before, they are the ones that will be actually assigning you the course grade in field. So in terms of thinking about, I'm having issues in field, what do I do first? Who do I contact? Your first point of contact is going to be your field instructor. And your field instructor is the person at the agency who is your supervisor. If there's an issue that can't be resolved by your field instructor, or maybe it's an issue that is related to a conflict you're having with your field instructor, then you would contact your field liaison. And again, this is the person who works here for UTA, who is your kind of mediator. Once you get your field liaison involved, if they can't address the issue satisfactorily, then you'll reach out to your field advisor, who in your case would be either Amy Lopez or Ronnie, as I said before. And then finally, kind of the last person on that hierarchy list would be the Assistant Dean of Field Education, Dr. Smith. In terms of your roles and responsibilities, you are to abide by the NASW and the State of Texas Code of Ethics, which you should be familiar with since you've already attained your bachelor's degree in social work. We expect you to be able to accept helpful and critical feedback because this is a learning experience. And then to kind of follow that hierarchy that I talked about in terms of resolving conflicts and issues. And you'll complete your timesheets and supervision logs and submit them to the field liaison in a timely manner. We will provide links to your field instructor to do an evaluation on you, on your progress at both the midterm and in the final period of each semester that you're enrolled in field. And it's simply your responsibility just to remind your field instructor that they need to do it and do it on time. You as a student will also get an evaluation form to fill out about your placement, to figure out, if you had a good experience and what needs to change for students, in subsequent semesters to make the field experience better. There is a field calendar located on the field portion of the School of Social Work website, and it lists all of the dates for applications to field, opening and closing dates, as well as dates that you can begin your field placement in a semester, and then how long you have to complete your field placement hours for that particular semester. So it's a good calendar to kind of be familiar with as you're entering field. Okay, good. So this is my contact information. I've been in communication with all of you via email. And then you've probably, hopefully, also heard from the MSW program assistant. Her name is Ginger Jackson. So if you have questions following this orientation, I hope that you will reach out to me and I will help you kind of navigate your way through enrollment. If you are having trouble getting enrolled, if you're having trouble getting in touch with your advisor, please let me know. It is my job to be able to support you and to help you make sure you have a good experience throughout the MSW program. So at this point, I am done with my formal presentation, and what I'd like to do is open it up to questions via chat. So if anyone has any questions for me, if you would please type them in the chat box, and then I will answer each one of them, and we will continue until there are no more questions. So I'll give you a couple minutes to think about questions that you might have. Christina says, will you be emailing the PowerPoint to us? I will be emailing you the video recording of this call, which will contain, yes, the PowerPoint slides. I will also be emailing you links to the presentation that I mentioned from Patrice Green about student support services, as well as a link to the field resources that I talked about for students who do not live in the DFW Metroplex and will be identifying field placements in other geographic locations, just so that you have that at your fingertips and you don't have to go searching for it. Well, I must have done a fabulous job on this orientation because very few questions are coming up. Nobody has questions. Wow. Okay. Well, oh, yes, Catherine has one. Okay. Deal. Uh-oh, she thinks it might be too difficult to explain. Okay. Well, Catherine, that is absolutely fine. You can definitely email me, and we will work out whatever your question is. And that's the same for all of you. If you have a question that's specific to you, or you know, you need some more individualized help, do email me directly and we'll figure it out. Marina says, are there any requirements for the amount of days that you need to do your field, or is it just as long as you meet the hour requirements? So my understanding is that you have a certain time period to do your field placement. And I think that they don't want you to finish more than about 2 weeks early. And that's because they really want you to get the experience of what it's like to, you know, be in a position over a prolonged period of time. So I don't think they want you to do, you know, 60 hours a week and then finish midway through the semester. That said, I think there is some flexibility in terms of working with your individual agency to see what their expectations are. And I think that, you know, if there are special circumstances that, you know, it's probably something that they can work with you on an individual basis to address that. Catherine is asking, is it part-time? Are you talking about, is it a part-time MSW program, or are you talking about field specifically? Field. Okay, so your field placement is split over 2 semesters. So you're getting 240 hours each semester for a total of 480. So when you look at what 240 hours comes out to, I think it's about 15 to 16, something like that, hours a week. So it's a little bit less than a part-time job. And that looks a little bit different in the summer because the summer's a little bit shorter. So you do a few more hours each week in the summer. But in general, yes, it's part-time in the sense that it's less than 20 hours a week. Marina says, I have a question about field. I already work at the MHMR in Houston. Would it be possible to do field there in a different program? So yes, it is possible. There is actually a special process for developing your practicum experience that is separate from your employment experience. But we do have students that are able to manage that. I think the requirements are that you do your field placement in a different department than the one you're employed in, and also that you report to a different supervisor. So your field instructor cannot be your employment supervisor. But other than that, I do think that those arrangements can be made and have been made for students. Are students supposed to do the same internship during both semesters? Yes. This is your advanced internship. So this is really one internship split over 2 semesters. So you will not move to a different placement during the second semester of field unless there were some, you know, extenuating circumstance, something went terribly wrong. Other than that, you'll stay in the same placement. So I would say 99% of students end up staying in the same placement where they start their field placement. Okay, well, oh, here's one more. Does field count as 70% of the grade? It does, yes. And so, well, actually, hold on. Let me stop for a second. So, you've stumped me, Stephanie. I'm trying to remember how that works in the advanced placement. So we recently made a change, actually. Used to, we didn't actually count field toward your GPA. So students were not given a grade for field at all. They were just given a pass-fail. But we had students that felt like because they were spending so much time in field and really putting so much effort into field, that they should get credit for it in the sense of actually earning a grade point for those hours that they're in field. So you take 4 hours, you're in field for 4 semester credit hours, 1 semester, and then 4 the next semester. And you do earn a grade based on those hours. But in terms of the breakdown, I don't remember if it is 70% or how that actually works. That would be a good question for your field advisor, because I'm just not remembering exactly how that breakdown works right now. But it will be clear on your syllabus also, of course, for field. Okay, well, I want to just thank you one more time for participating in this orientation. I hope it's been helpful to you. As I promised, I will send the recording to all of you so that you have it for your files. If you want to go over it again, I will also send you the other information I promised. And I just ask that you reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm here to support you, and I'm glad that you've chosen UTA. So welcome to the Maverick family. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.